Welcome to the back room of the Randomville Bar and Grill, where it gets weird!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the back room of the Randomville Bar and Grill for today's edition of the Randomville Sports Network, and in fact, the first edition. Dan, how does it feel to be here?
Spooner, it feels absolutely fantastic. We've got a lot of really great drivers today. It's setting to be a really good race. I know this is an event that we've all been looking forward to for a really long time. A lot of great cars, a lot of great drivers, and the track looks absolutely fantastic today. So I think we're in for a good race.
It does. It should be mentioned that today is the first edition of the Randomville Racing League, and it is happening in the medium of iRacing. That's right, we don't have the budget to put actual cars on an actual track.
Turns out that costs a lot. That quote was nuts.
It was. It was a lot more money, and Dan, you thought we were going to have to pay money to get that quote.
Usually we would.
But I thought it would only be $10, but it was free!
Free quote.
And a lot more than we needed to pay.
All we had to do was sit through a seminar for a timeshare.
You know, that was a really weird part of it.
Yeah, I also can't believe they convinced me to buy a timeshare.
In, of all places, Reno, Nevada.
Well, it was either that or Muncie, Indiana.
I don't blame you.
I went with Reno.
Yeah, good choice. Anyway, in iRacing today, we are going to be at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, which, Dan, is located in Nashville, Tennessee. It is a track that is 0.6 of a mile long.
I had Nashville, Kansas.
You know what? You were just this close, Dan. But 0.6 of a mile long. It's 18 degrees banked in the corners. It is only 3 degrees banked on the front stretch and the back stretch. And that's really just to help with drainage in case it rains. But it's going to be a great race today, and we are looking forward to it. We have a bunch of AI racers and one real human being who is taking the test. And Dan, that human being is Austin Huck.
God help us.
Yes, and God help him.
Well, it's iRacing, so he's really not in any real danger.
You know what? That is true. That is true. But fans, we know that you might not be super in touch with what car racing is like, so we're going to give you a little primer into the flags of racing, because that is how communication happens on the racetrack. So, Dan, I'm going to hold up the flag, and you are going to tell us what it means. So we're going to speed through this because it is racing, of course.
Go. Slow. Stop! I surrender!
Dan?
Yeah?
This is racing, not France.
Oh! One left to go.
Yes, perfect.
You're done!
Yay!
You're slow! Move!
Correct.
You suck!
Yes, the black flag means you did something wrong, and if you don't acknowledge it,
you suck, and you ignored us!
which means you have to acknowledge us,
Yeah.
or we're going to act like you don't exist for the rest of the race.
Kinda like every woman I've ever talked to.
And now on to going through all of the cars that are going to be participating in today's race.
Thanks for breezing by that.
In the Randomville, North Dakota, Cass Clay Creamery, Pizza Ranch, Bremer Bank, number 00 Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS, Anthony Spooner.
In the -0, 6 Sour Fenwick Ugly Stick Chevy Silverado, Stephen Jacob.
In the duct tape, Cryptech Outdoors, St. Croix Rod Chevrolet Camaro, the number 2 of Andrew Meyer.
In the number 3 Oreo Lego Ford Mustang, Harrison Heruby.
In the number 4 Bobcat University of Mary Dodge Ram, it's Patrick Jacob.
In the Bomani Jones Great Value Kirkland Bali number 7 Chevy Silverado, it's me.
In the number 8 University of North Dakota Fighting Hawks Shure Audio Chevrolet Camaro, Jacob Notermann.
In the Coors Brewing Company Dodge Ram number 12 car, Austin Huck.
In the Green Bay Packers Nike Carhartt Chevrolet Camaro number 13, Father Joseph Littlefield.
In the number 16 Rita Vanette Photography 7 Weeks Coffee, You Marry Chipotle Ford Mustang, Miranda Baser.
In the number 18 Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir Split Paint Scheme Chevrolet Camaro, Caitlin Spooner.
In the number 20 Bluey Pontiac Grand Prix GTO, Cecilia Spooner.
In the number 22 Winemere Warbirds Black Pelican Bar and Grill, Lincoln State Bank Chevrolet Camaro, Dominic Spooner.
In the number 26 Great Lakes Loons, University of Michigan Coca-Cola Ford Mustang, Jacob Van Harmelen.
In the number 36 Culver's Garmin Shields, Randomville State University Fighting Onions Toyota Camry, Gabe Bainey.
In the Got Milk number 47 Toyota Tundra, Jerky the Cow.
In the Mr. Clean Toyota Camry number 53, Gracie Yukas.
In the number 56 Buffalo Wild Wings Lagunitas Brewing Company Toyota Camry Hall of Famer Hugh Burns.
In the number 69 Harambe for President Nissan Titan, Harambe.
In the number 72 Baser Sheet Metal Grain Belt Ford Mustang, Jack Baser.
In the number 95 Mountain Dew Taco Bell Milwaukee Tools Fig Newtons Toyota Tundra, Abram Yukas.
In the 176 North Face Olive Garden Ford Mustang, JT Salling.
And in the number 607 Ariat Ford F-150, Luke Huber. And now we're going to head on down to our pit road reporter, Jacob Notermann. He's got the pre-race report from the pits.
Hey guys, I'm down on what is actually a very naturalistic looking pit row, and we're just about ready to get this race underway. A lot of pit crews are going over their final stops, looking over the final adjustments of their cars. One car that we're going to keep our eye on today is that of the Austin Huck machine. Spoke with crew chief Smokin' Joe Roberts earlier today, and he said that hopes are very high for this team. In fact, they're saying that anything short of a victory would be an emotional disappointment and an all-around failure of the entire team's operations. Another interesting note, this is going to be the first time that sports betting is actually going to be allowed at the racetrack, which means that there are many people who are putting their financial well-being on the lines. And because of Smokin' Joe's optimism towards Austin Huck's machine, many families have put their money on the Austin Huck car, which means that if Austin Huck does not end up in victory lane today, it will be the financial ruin of many families and spectators around the country.
Thanks so much for that, Jacob. Yeah, interesting to hear how much of the money is being put on the number 12 Austin Huck car, considering he came in at a plus 37,000 underdog. This is not a race he's expected to win, but we will be watching that closely because of that optimism from the crew chief. Spooner, get us started with the starting lineup.
Yeah, so it's going to be a really good starting lineup today. Dan, starting lineup, starting order. I know you're more of a stick and ball sport kind of guy, but either phrase is applicable here.
Good to know.
So let's jump into that starting lineup. On the pole position, that 00 machine of Anthony Spooner. Outside on row 1 is Jack Baser in the 72 machine. Inside of row 2, the number 22 of Dominic Spooner, while outside is Dan Revere in the number 7. Starting 5th on the field from row 3 is the 95 of Abram Yukas, and outside of him, it's going to be the number 8 of Jacob Notermann. On the inside of row 4 is Andrew Meyer, and on the outside, starting 8th on the field today, is Harambe. On the inside of row 5, Patrick Jacob, while on the outside, his older brother, Stephen, last name redacted, in the -0. In row 6 on the inside, Gabe Bainey, and on the outside in the 26 machine, Jacob Van Harmelen. On the inside of row number 7, the 607 of Luke Huber, and on the outside it's the 56 machine of Hugh Burns. On the inside of row 8, it is JT Salling in the 176, and on the outside, Father Joseph Littlefield in the 13. While on the inside of row number 9, Austin Huck in the number 12, and on the outside, Gracie Yukas in the 53. On the inside of row 10, it is Caitlin Spooner in her 18 machine, and on the outside, Harrison Ruby in his number 3. On the inside of row number 11, it is Miranda Baser in the 16 car, and on the outside, in that bluey number 20, it's Cecilia Spooner, and starting shotgun on the field in the number 47 in 23rd position, it's Jerky the Cow.
Great starting order there, Spooner. Thanks so much for that. Once again, keep a close eye on that number 12 Austin Huck machine. Not only is the crew chief very optimistic today with a lot of money being placed on that machine and driver, he is also the only actual driver we have on the track today.
That is correct. Everyone else is just an AI, an artificial intelligence. Now, we both wish we could be as smart as our artificial intelligences that will be appearing in the race today. Or at least I wish I could.
I do not.
All right, fair enough. With that said, it's time to get into the race because pace laps are underway. And as we can see here, we have Austin Huck's live, I would say in-car camera, but it's not quite an in-car camera there, Dan. That's going to be in the bottom left of the screen whenever Austin Huck is on screen. And now, a couple of times we will go split screen, and we'll be sure to remind you when that happens. But split screen, Austin Huck will always be on the left, and whatever's happening elsewhere in the field will be on the right. Dan, we've got just about 2 pace laps before this race gets underway. Any final thoughts as we see the cars circling Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway?
Well, definitely a lot of reasons for bettors to be concerned on that number 12 Huck vehicle there. As you can see, having a hard time staying in the lane there just in the pit laps. I worry about his control for the rest of the day here up against these other cars who really seem to be keeping it locked in formation there.
That's very true. I do really enjoy looking at the cars as they pace around. You get that opportunity to really take in all of the beautiful paint schemes, all of the wonderful sponsors that are doing absolutely nothing.
Absolutely. All the cars look great except for that really bad one with the ugly green G on the hood. Otherwise, the cars look fantastic. It's bright. It's a sunny day. You gotta love it.
Pace cars in, and here we go. Anthony Spooner is on the inside, leading the field to green. He is going to cross that stripe, number 1, while behind him it's Dominic Spooner on the inside and Jack Baser on the outside. But Anthony Spooner leads through turns 1 and 2. We can see Austin Huck now there on the inside. He's trying to navigate past Cecilia Spooner. A little bit of contact there we can see in the background with Caitlin Spooner on the Ladybug side of her Cat Noir and Ladybug car.
Yeah, you see that right away. We're getting a little bit of bumping and a little bit of lack of control from Huck there. That's definitely something that you don't want to see, especially this early in the race. You really want to see him kind of set his tempo, figure out his strategy, figure out what he wants to do with this race before he gets too aggressive.
And he just got in there a little too loose out of turn 2, spanks the inside wall, but he's kept the car underneath him. He can still at least see the field ahead of him. Currently running in 23rd position, 22nd position is Austin Huck. The only car doing worse than him right now is Jerky the Cow.
Yeah, and you got to figure that there's a lot of... Oh, wow! That is a massive hit.
Noses the car into the inside wall on the backstretch. He's now right behind Jerky the Cow. Looks like a little bit of nose damage there to the Austin Huck machine. That Dodge Ram fighting with the Toyota Tundra of Jerky the Cow.
Doesn't look like we're going to see the caution come out for that. If he wants to pit to get that repaired, that's going to be on his own time.
It does. He's really looking loose out of turn 2. We haven't seen him that much out of turn number 4, but here we go. Austin Huck outside of Jerky the Cow now, trying to make that pass, going down the front stretch and into turn number 1. Jerky the Cow backs out a little bit. Austin Huck on the high line through 1 and 2. He's going to clear Jerky the Cow. That's a pass for position. Now running only 22nd out of 23.
Yeah, and you look at that inside look there. You can see where he's kind of going back. He's working that wheel a little bit too hard. Kind of needs to let the car control itself a little bit more. Really just let that machine do what it's made to do. He's oversteering a lot. As you get inside again, you can just see he's doing a little bit too much. Needs to settle down, settle in.
And here he comes out of turn number 4, looking to start himself into a good rhythm. Oh no, too much oversteer.
Oh,
he misses the inside. Oh, no! Austin Huck.
Big hit. That's going to bring a flag.
That is going to be a caution flag. Anthony Spooner is going to drive by from the lead, but that Austin Huck machine, that number 12 is smoking. You just heard him say he's got engine trouble. Looks like he has some issues there. He's going to need to pit.
Doesn't take a mechanic to figure out this engine trouble. He just hit the wall at about 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, just about. Maybe a little less than 200, but gosh darn, pretty close. You know, that tractor looks pretty sick. So we're going to head on down to the pits for a report from our pit reporter, JACOB NOTERMANN.
Dan, Anthony, an absolute miracle is happening down here on pit road. Similar for the holiday season, it's not just a miracle on 34th Street, it's a miracle on pit road. The beginning of this race saw an Aaron Rodgers style disappointment where there was a lot of optimism, a lot of excitement coming into this race, and then a complete crash landing on any kind of hope and dream that 12 Huck machine had. However, while racing for last place against Jerky the Cow, Huck did experience that nose damage, but by the miracle, they were able to get the car fixed and they are ready to go, and we're going to show you how they did it with the My Truck cutaway car. See, under this hood, you have an engine, and what they did was they took it out and they put a new engine in. Many fans will say that this will look like they just kind of restarted the race, almost like a magic reset button, but I can assure you, this is the same race, and there is not at all an operational function where all we did was restart the race. We're back to you, Dan and Anthony, up in the booth.
All right, and coming back from that, thank you so much, Jacob. You know, it's good to know that we've got a magic reset button here in the virtual world, and a blown engine can be repaired at the snap of a fingers. But Dan, you were just mentioning while Jacob was reporting that the top 5 right now, it's looking like Anthony Spooner, and then Dominic Spooner, Jack Baser, Abram Yukis, and in 5th place, that is the number 8 machine of, surprise, surprise, JACOB NOTERMANN, also in 2 places at once today. Further back, we've got Andrew Meyer and then Dan Revere ahead of Harambe, who is currently in 8th position. Looks like they are forming up, so we've got 1 lap remaining under this caution period. Anthony Spooner takes the inside, Dominic Spooner on the outside, with row 2 being Jack Baser and Abram Yukis. And then further back, we've got JACOB NOTERMANN and Andrew Meyer, and then, as mentioned a bit ago, Dan Revere and Harambe. To finish off the top 10, it is Patrick Jacob, and it is Jacob Van Harmelen. Dan, we're half a lap from going back to green. What do you think?
Well, a lot of relief for bettors and for families who are on that number 12 car. That reset button definitely keeps their hopes alive here. Still got to be a little bit concerned about that. There's a lot of really good cars at the front. Interesting to see how this race takes shape as we get back to green.
Yes, back to green. Anthony Spooner takes the lead again into 1 and 2, and Jack Baser will get the 2nd position while they are 3 wide behind. Austin Huck is just finishing up his pit stop. He's going to be maybe a lap or 2 behind as we take a look at now Harambe making a move around Father Joseph Littlefield, but almost 3 wide there. Andrew Meyer backs out, gets into the top lane. Austin Huck is off of his pit jacks. He is going to go. Let's hope he does not speed off of pit road. He does not need a pit road speeding penalty here. He really cannot afford to have that happen. He's already 2.5 laps down.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely not the start that fans wanted to see from Austin Huck here. It's really showing that he's the only actual human driver in this race today.
And as we watch Anthony Spooner and Jack Baser go by Austin here, we're going to see him dealing as lapped traffic. He's going to have to see just how well he can race around cars that are actually racing for meaningful positions right now.
Going to be interesting to see whether or not we see that blue and yellow flag come out today on Austin Huck here as he gets in the way of the Notermann car. Definitely interesting. Definitely going to change some things up.
He makes contact with Abram Yukis, running him high into the outside, and now he's going to. He comes in. Contact with
That's
the Andrew
another
Meyer
big
machine.
hit.
Andrew Meyer hits the inside retaining wall. Huge contact with Austin Huck, the lap down car, and that is going to bring out a caution here.
Yeah, that's definitely going to go to Huck as far as causing that wreck. Hope to see Meyer come out okay. Hope to see the car come back on the track. But definitely going to see what happens with the number 12 car regarding that change.
And it looks like it is going to be to the back of the field for Austin Huck. I think they might bunch them all up and then send him to the back of the field. Obviously, he's a lap down car, so he'll be back there regardless. But that number 12 machine of Austin Huck, while looking like a can of Coors Banquet, it's not really going down as smooth as it could be for Mr. Huck.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at this and say, this is actually a relief to the drivers. You hate to see Meyer go down that way, but if Huck gets moved to the back, that's going to be relieving for a lot of the drivers here as they get him out of the way. You can see he's just kind of a chaotic driver, causing a lot of issues up there.
He really is. And we'll be keeping an eye on what happens between him and Andrew Meyer the rest of the race, because as we can see in the shot just coming up here, look to the back and you can see that duct tape flaming yellow and black car all the way at the back of the pack. He'll be starting just behind Andrew Meyer, will Austin Huck.
Yeah, taking some time to get him back there. I don't know if he actually knows that he's being pushed to the end here, but I mean, still a lot of interesting moves up at the front. Spooner has been maintaining that lead the entire race here. Interesting to see if somebody can make a move on him coming out of this break here.
It is going to be interesting as well. You know what I was just thinking, Dan, was does Austin know if he caused that wreck?
I believe we have Dominic Spooner.
I really don't think he does. The way he's lined up there, he seems to be completely oblivious to the fact that he caused that. I don't know if he's aware that he's going to need to drop to the back. Wondering if they're going to, how long it's going to be until somebody gets on the radio and tells him that.
You know, I'm wondering, he's talking to himself right now. He's just kind of talking through, you know, who is around him, and I don't even know if he knows he's laps down. Multiple laps down at that.
Wouldn't surprise me to find out that he was completely clueless to this. As we both famously know, Austin Huck is confused.
He is, and it looks like while being confused, he's also being instructed to let the cars by. So we're going to see all the cars that are going to have to pass him, including Abram Yukis, Patrick Jacob, Dan Revere, Father Joseph Littlefield. There's the -0 of Stephen, last name redacted. As we all know, he is the older brother of Patrick Jacob. And then there's Harambe, Jacob Van Harmelen, Gabe Bainey, Gracie Yukis, JT Salling, Hugh Burns, Harrison Ruby, Luke Huber, Caitlin Spooner, Cecilia Spooner, Miranda Vanette, Jerky the Cow should be going by just about, yep. Oh, no, pardon me, that's Miranda Vanette. Here's Jerky the Cow, and as previously mentioned, Dan, look who that is.
Andrew Meyer, and like you say, it's going to be interesting to see how those two cars interact the rest of this race.
What the heck?
Huck's going to be on the inside, and it looks like he is going to not want to take that spot. He's going to, you know, he has the option to leg back if he wants to here, but most people wouldn't take that. It'd be an interesting strategy to see him take that option.
Wait a minute, Dan, wait a minute. We are just hearing now from race control that prior to the caution, Austin Huck received a pit road speeding penalty. He'll have to serve that under green flag conditions. After this race restarts here, we can see on the right hand of the screen the restart. Anthony Spooner getting away, but Jack Bazer's going to keep it a little bit tighter than usual. He almost might get down to the bottom, but that is JACOB NOTERMANN on the bottom. And here's Austin Huck at the back. I don't know if he knows he has that penalty yet.
Definitely seems like he's pretty oblivious to it, but we're going to see what happens. See if he takes that penalty, and you know, Meyer, class act. He's just gotten right back in this race. He's not taking the time to mess around. We're going to see. Maybe he kind of interacts after the race, but he's all about the business right now.
He is. We can see on the right-hand side of the screen, Jack Bazer is trying to close in on Anthony Spooner, but here we go. Austin Huck looks like he has learned that he does have to make that pit road speeding penalty, which is a pass-through penalty. Oh no! Austin Huck has impacted the tires at pit road entry.
Thank you.
Betters, if you have an option, I know sometimes you'll get the option for an early cash out. If you see that opportunity, you're going to want to take that. This race is not going his way.
And now it's time to head down for JACOB NOTERMANN with another pit road report.
Hey, look, I'm pitting.
Dan Anthony, some more bad news coming down here on pit road. A bad situation getting worse for that number 12 Huck machine after having to serve that speeding penalty after a series of collisions both with the car of Andrew Meyer as well as the wall. There is now significant damage to that number 12 car that needs to get worked on. I talked to crew chief Smokin' Joe Roberts, to which he said that everything is going to be fine. They know exactly what they're working with. The damage is going to be repairable, and in fact, this is all going according to plan. To which I asked Smokin' Joe what plan involves so many penalties and so many crashes, to which he responded, one that no one had warned me about. And then he slammed his laptop closed, threw it on the racetrack, and was warned that any other kind of outbreaks such as that may lead to additional penalties. We'll keep you in line as far as what other penalties may be coming down for that 12 machine, but things are getting very stressful down here on pit road.
And we are back. Thank you so much there, Jacob. As you can see on the track right now, Jack Bazer is pulling up to the rear bumper of Anthony Spooner. Anthony Spooner is fading, and Jack Bazer is right there. We better hope that Austin Huck machine does not get another speeding penalty. As to the inside goes Jack Bazer. Jack Bazer out of turn number 4. He is going to take the lead of the race. Oh, and Austin Huck has received another pit road speeding penalty.
Not surprising seeing him pull out there. That was a
Oh no, watch out, watch out. Austin Huck was a little high. He made Jack Bazer check up. Jack Bazer is out of the lead. Anthony Spooner is back to the lead. And now Dominic Spooner is all over the rear end of Jack Bazer.
Well, and just an absolute shame there. Jack Bazer made an incredible move, cutting through, getting past to the number 1 spot. Had an excellent opportunity there, and it was absolutely squandered, not by his fault, but by Austin Huck's reckless driving there.
And now Austin Huck serving yet another penalty. We will see that on the left, but on the right-hand side of the screen, check that out. That's Anthony Spooner getting around the lap track of Jerky the Cow. There's only a handful of laps remaining, and Jerky the Cow is holding up 4 of the top 5 right now. This is insane.
Definitely a great run for that 00 Spooner car. You gotta love seeing this. I mean, you hate to see it, you love to see it, but a really tough battle for second place right now. Gonna be a lot. These 4 guys here trying to get around Jerky the Cow so they can go and try to make another move on Spooner.
Oh no, Jerky the Cow is a little slow there on the inside. Looks like Dominic Spooner is going to get past. He does get past. That is, who is that behind Jerky the Cow? That's Jack Baser.
That looks like Jack Baser, yeah.
Jack Baser is falling as Abram Yukis gets around. JACOB NOTERMANN gets around. Dan Revere gets around Jack Baser. Jack Baser was in the lead of the race, and now he has fallen too. I have to do some mental math. It looks like 7th position. Jack Baser is well out of the top 5.
Well, it went from a really good move there to take first place, and I think he got thrown off completely by the reckless driving of Austin Huck here. Had an absolute amazing opportunity and has completely squandered it by refusing to make a move around Jerky the Cow.
And it looks like there's only 1 or 2 laps left. In fact, we are almost done with the race. On the right-hand side, you will see Anthony Spooner in that 00 machine coming to take the checkered flag of the race. It is Anthony Spooner with the win, with Dominic Spooner right behind him. Austin Huck needs to cross the line to finish the race, and he is going... Oh, no!
Are you kidding me?
Austin
No
Huck,
way!
entering turn number 3 for the final time, makes contact with the Bluey machine of Cecilia Spooner. He just blamed her, but that was all his fault, and insult to injury. Hits the wall to take the checkered flag. Austin Huck.
I'm going to say it, Anthony. Just an absolute embarrassing race from Austin Huck today.
Truly just, I have never seen a man implode so much under pressure, and now recklessly driving around the track again.
Well, he was down 2-3 laps there, so he did already have to run some extra laps.
This is my victory lap.
He just called it a victory lap.
Yeah, victory lap for dead last and then some. So I mean, just an embarrassing race. I mean, we're gonna see a lot of angry fans after this race. I mean, that was not a good showing from Austin Huck there. Really good race outside of him, but you know, a lot of guys took some major guff off of his poor driving.
Yeah, that was definitely a tricky race to see. And looks like we're gonna head back up here to the booth. And that was an unfortunate race there, Dan, and we're going to check out the finishing order here in just a moment. But one more time, those reactions of the absolute disgrace that was the race of Austin Huck.
I mean, you really can't even call it a race on his part, can you? He really just kind of went out there and ran a demolition derby on some of the top drivers in this league. Saw a lot of really talented drivers fall way back. Jack Baser was a second-place driver. He falls out of the top 5 as a result of Huck's reckless driving. Another guy that's got to be...
Well, you say second place. Sorry to interrupt you, but he was in the lead of the race
when
Austin Huck caused that incident.
Yeah, and I mean, another driver that's got to be really upset with him right now is Andrew Meyer. There's an accident that was caused by Austin Huck that Meyer looked like he was getting ready to make a move and was absolutely just blindsided by reckless driving.
Definitely a car that had top 5 potential today. That number 2 machine of Andrew Meyer, but we'll see where they finished here in just a moment because it's time for the finishing order. As we see here, we've got the top 5. Of course, the winner, Anthony Spooner in that Monte Carlo SS, and the rest of the top 5, Dan, not a bad showing at all with Dominic Spooner, and then JACOB NOTERMANN, Abram Yukis, and Dan Revere rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, it feels like a little bit of a rigging on this one, looking at that winner, but you got to hand it to him. Anthony Spooner drove one heck of a race today. You absolutely got to hand him that opportunity, that win. This is a great win for him and the team. And for all the top 5, this was a really good race. These are guys that did not start very high, made a lot of really big jumps here.
And then you look at the rest of the top 10. Jack Baser did make up a position on Patrick Jacob after falling from 1st to 7th due to the careless driving of Austin Huck with Patrick Jacob there. And then Jacob Van Harmelen, one of his first showings in Randomville, a top 10, not bad. And Harambe in a Nissan Titan in 9th place with Gabe Beatty in the Culver's number 36, rounding out the top 10. And then as you can see, we've got 2 more vehicles on this screen, Dan, that Gracie Yukis machine and Luke Huber. And actually, those are all of the cars that finished on the lead lap. Everyone else was at least one lap down.
Yeah, I got to hand it to Gracie Yukas here. She's been having a rough season all year, but she really came out and had a strong showing in this race. Got to hand it to her and the team. Definitely a bright future in that 53 car's future.
And now, the insane thing that Jerky the Cow, by far the worst driver in the field, finishes 13th, the highest mover, gaining 9 positions. And then, of course, we see Father Joseph Littlefield. Stephen, last name redacted, a bit of a slide back there, but we want to talk about a slide. There's Andrew Meyer in 16th.
Well, and once again, you really can't say that slide for Andrew Meyer is all his fault. Definitely had a strong showing at the beginning and just kind of got mixed up with traffic. Not a really good showing for him there, but really, had a strong start and just failed to finish.
He really did. And of course, Harrison Ruby and JT Selling, Caitlin Spooner, of course, and Hugh Burns rounding out the top 20. And then our 3 vehicles outside the top 20. We have Cecilia Spooner, who, if we're being honest, we didn't expect a whole lot out of her today.
Well, yeah, the young rookie was going to struggle with this field. Definitely just a younger driver. You saw a little bit of that immaturity out there on the track, and really a bright future in that young driver's future.
And definitely a good-looking
future
Pontiac.
in their future.
Yes, a future
Absolutely.
in the future.
I said what I said.
And we have Miranda Baser
I
sheet
do
metal.
believe that's the preferred, she's not a Baser sheet metal. She's Rita Vanette Photography.
Oh, that is correct. And then Austin Huck.
The embarrassment of Randomville.
Yes. And now down to JACOB Notermann on pit road with the post-race pit road report.
Dan Anthony, what was otherwise a very nice race on the racetrack was a complete abomination down here on pit road. The number 12 machine of Austin Huck had an absolutely abysmal day, just piling up crashes and penalties along the way. Talking to crew chief Joe Roberts, he said that today was an absolute disgrace and an absolute insult, not just to racing fans, but to God himself, as a means of using this planet Earth for such a waste of time. He said he will be leaving racing and will be going to the seminary because he feels as though offering his life to the Lord is the only way he can make things right. We now send it down to Grace Yukas with an interview with a driver.
All right, Austin, it was your first career race. Didn't quite go as planned, though. Can you give us a little more?
I had no plan coming into this race. As you can see, pit lane, kind of not my strong suit. Then again, I don't really have a strong suit when it comes to iRacing.
Yeah. Tell us about those 3 pit penalties. What was going on there?
3? I thought there was a lot more. The black flag and I, we're getting close. Hopefully we can separate our love for each other a little bit. 25, I think, is going to be my sweet spot coming in to the next race. 35, pushing 40, coming out of pit lane, I guess, is a bad thing. So they'll pull out the black flag on me every time. I'd like to thank the pit crew, though. They saved me a few different times, including that little tiny wreck. And then there's that other little tiny wreck.
Yeah, let's talk about those wrecks. So Andrew Meyer, you really put a hurt on him. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, it's his own dang fault. He shouldn't have been that close to me. I know, he's not the happiest guy with me right now. He had to come back and get a new car and do a lot of repairs to his other car. But dang, was that fun.
Yeah, he's called you out publicly. Do you have any response to his outburst?
I plead the fifth, Your Honor. At least I think that's how it's supposed to work.
All right, and anything that you wanna tell the folks at home that you're gonna clean up for next time?
Hopefully be a better racer. I always want to thank my pit crew. Like I said, they did a great job for me today. Me and the number 12 Ram. Coors Light car, we're tight. We've been together through thick and thin. She's always running really good for me. At this point, I'm pretty sure she just runs on Coors Light. Gasoline and her don't mix. It makes kind of a big boom. So hopefully we don't have to go through a big boom like that again. And we clean up these boo-boos and we try for the next race.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Austin.
Yeah.
Well, Austin certainly did not take a whole lot of responsibility there. In fact, seems like Andrew Meyer might be coming back at him in our next edition. But regardless of that, we hope you enjoyed your time here with the Randomville Sports Network and the Randomville Racing League, where almost everything's virtual except bar games and table games.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of really fun things to come yet. This network is just getting started, and I don't think it's going anywhere.
I'd rather not go anywhere else.
No, I meant like not progressing anywhere.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here in Randomville, North Dakota. From the studio at the back room of the Randomville Bar and Grill, I'm Anthony Spooner.
I'm Dan Revere.
On behalf of JACOB Notermann and Gracie Yukis, our pit road and post-race reporters, and on behalf of Austin Huck.
No.
Okay.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and don't forget to check out our merch. I know where it is, of course, but Spooner, just to make sure you know where it is, what's the website for that?
The website is www.randomvilleND.com. Click on the merch button and hit the contact us if you'd like to get a hold of us, or if you'd just like to send us an email, it's randomvillend@gmail.com.
Chris from Norway, we miss you.
We do. Apparently you were in North Dakota and we didn't check our email over the summer.
We're sorry.
We actually genuinely are. Am?
MR.
Grammar.
Sorry.
What's for dinner?
I was looking for pizza. That's probably a good place to stop.
Yeah, that is. Bye!
Bye!